Brian, thank you for joining us. You know, in our household, it might as well be Christmas. We've ordered a lot of different toys to kind of keep the kids occupied while they're under house arrest, essentially. But what are you seeing overall? What kind of impact have you seen on sales?
Well, overall, we are seeing great demand in our products, and we're trying to satisfy demand in a couple of ways. Certainly our games, our Play-Doh products are selling quite well. We're trying to get programs out there. This week we'll launch a program called Bring Home the Fun, trying to give parents and caregivers the resources they need to keep kids occupied, to help them get educated and keep creativity going on and foster family connection. But we also see a great demand in the communities for help of people who can't afford our toys and games. And so we're working with Save the Children, 200 locations across the U.S. to get products out to them, to get resources out to them. We're working with No Kid Hungry to make sure kids are getting the meals that they're not getting at schools. You know, everybody can play a role. Every company can play a role. And clearly heard the conversation going on this morning. For our company and for our people, that's about kids and families and trying to make a difference there. So, yes, we're seeing a great demand for our products. In fact, our supply chains are back up and running in China. We can talk more about that. But we also want to make a difference in people's lives as they are struggling on the emotional and psychological side of having everybody inside together.
That's huge that you were trying to reach out to families that can't afford to buy these things. When you say you're seeing great demand, does that mean sales are actually up for you?
Well, our first quarter has been quite good, and we'll report in about a month. We may miss some shipments as we're catching up, as production is catching up. We believe that by April, our production will be fully caught up, and we'll make up that difference. So, you know, again, subject to what happens around the world, as certain markets are closing while others are still open and robust. But yes, we're having a good start to our year, and we're very focused on both sides of the equation, ensuring that we're creating great commerce so that we can pay our people, and we're paying our people. Many people around the world are working virtually. Some of our people can't work virtually. We're paying everybody. We want to keep everyone on the payroll. In order to do that, we have to have great commerce, and we're doing that.
You mentioned that your supply chain in China is getting back up and running again. Where are your plants in China? What have you seen?
Yeah, so we work only, as you remember, Becky, with the third-party vendor partners. So overall, plants are, as of this week, back up in China. I will tell you there's been a bit of a shift in Hong Kong. You may have heard overnight that there's been more cases in Hong Kong. So our teams in Hong Kong are back to working virtually as of today. I was just on the line with our team in Hong Kong. But Shenzhen and Shanghai, the teams are in the field. They're working. They're using the highest protocols in terms of health and safety. And we are at full production as the end of this week. Obviously, it will take a few weeks to catch up. And we have a lot of demand for our products around the world.
You mentioned Play-Doh. What other brands? I mean, we've got a ton of Nerf things that we've got here that the kids are kind of playing in the yard with and doing other things. What other products have seen big surge in demand?
Well, you probably know we create most of the games that people love and have loved for many years. And Monopoly is a big game, Game of Life, Operation. Play-Doh certainly has been a big brand for us. But most of the games out there that people really find to be fun, where everybody knows the rules. You know, we also have a big digital gaming business. You know, we continue to see growth there. Magic the Gathering for that older audience has performed quite well, where older people are connecting. We have a Magic the Gathering Arena, which is an online gaming forum. That's in our fantasy gaming business out of Seattle. And there's a team that's done tremendous work, and they're working virtually like the rest of our company has been for the last week.
Brian, how many employees do you have?
About 6,500. You know, we just added E1. We made an acquisition just over the holidays. We closed on December 30th. So now we're about 6,500 employees in locations all over the world. And we have a tremendous team. They're doing incredible work, all at a distance. We're getting a lot of use out of Microsoft Teams.
No layoffs to this point? You don't
Brian?
Anticipate having to make any?
No, we're not going to make any layoffs. Look, Hasbro's in a really good financial position. We have over $1 billion in cash on our balance sheet, most of which is in the U.S. and in U.S. dollars. We have access to another $1.5 billion in a revolving credit line, which we're not going to draw down on. We continue to see good sales. Obviously, our finance teams and everyone else is working 24/7. We've worked through every one of these days since it's been clear what's happening. Our board is very supportive to continue to pay our dividend. We continue to pay our dividend and will pay our dividend. And we are going to employ our people. We think one of the roles we can play is to continue to give people the paycheck they deserve. There are people in our company who don't have access to laptops, but we're paying them as well. They're co-ops and interns. They're getting paid. That's our commitment that we've made.
Andrew?
Brian, just really quick, wanted you to get back to the issue of China and what you're seeing on the ground there. I know you're not there, but your people are, to the extent that that's a model for what may or may not happen in this country and what it looks like. Can you tell us more?
Sure. So what we've really seen is that there's been a return to work. And as you know, people came out of Chinese New Year and they were all displaced, having traveled over Chinese New Year. And then factories and other vendors, model makers, and our own teams had to get back into place. That took a bit of time. So now Shanghai is up and running. That's our sales and marketing teams for China. Clearly, sales in China have moved greatly online. You know, retail sales are down precipitously. You've talked about that trade-off, and that's not a total equal trade-off. Our business overall in China isn't that big, so it shouldn't have an overall negative impact on our company. And then Shenzhen is the heart of our manufacturing side, and that's really, again, with vendor partners. So we don't own any of our factories. We're asset light, but we clearly have people in there creating product, planning product, and quality control. And what we're seeing is that those partners are back up and running. The factory workers are back working. And then just literally an hour ago, I was on the line with the Hong Kong team, and we had the team back in the offices. As of this past weekend, there was a directive that people should now work from home again. There was a spike. And what's happening, according to our team there on the ground, is just as non-nationals are returning to China to get work going, they're bringing cases of the virus back with them. And so they're trying to clamp that down in Hong Kong so that they don't have a rampant spread of the virus. So the team's working virtually again.